Hello everybody! So it is finally mid-October, which means it is time for me to make a Halloween inspired costume. And I'm finally giving myself more than 3 days to make something. So let's just jump into it. I have been really interested in trying to make an Eowyn dress, or I guess like little suit of armor piece, basically ever since the Rings of Power kind of aired. I don't know why, but I love Galadriel, but there's just something about Eowyn and Autumn, I don't know, it just hits the field just in the right place. So that's what we're going to do. I'd really like to try to make this reference image here, the brown kind of wrap look. But I'd like to try to make it look more like a piece of armor. I already have a dress that I can sort of utilize and make to resemble a little bit of Eowyn's dress. And I don't really think that the dress really needs to be super accurate at this point. It's just doing something for fun. I do not have leather, and I don't really have leatherworking skills. So I thought, why not just try to make something look kind of like a piece of armor made out of warbler. And I've never used warbler before, and I'm really excited, and I kind of have a design that I kind of came up myself, but also gained some inspiration from a few other brilliant creators, and I will link them below so you can check them out for yourselves. But yes, I think we've got a plan, so I'm going to go ahead, figure out a pattern, and then we'll start making it and designing it together. I'm so excited.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of been a long time since I sat down and just decided to make a craft instead of making an entire garment from scratch. So I was actually really excited to get to work with something that I've never used before, which is this EVA Foam, and I did buy Warbler, but I thought I'd save it for a different project. But all the materials that I got were these. I got little foam brushes, I got E6000, a Exacto knife, and a Stylus like outliner, black paint, and some gold spray paint. And I also used a few other acrylic colors that I had in my stash already. Now, designing the pattern was a little bit of a struggle. It was pretty easy for the most part, but I had to take into account that the foam isn't necessarily as flexible as regular fabric. So a little bit later on in the process, I ended up needing to cut some slashes into the waistline area just so that it can just easily mold over my waist. So that was a little bit of a challenge, but it was pretty fun. And I really love how the results came out looking so crisp and clean, and I couldn't wait to start painting. This part of heating the foam into shape was a big struggle. This is where I needed to cut those slashes into the waistline because it was starting to mold and starting to form to my dress form, but it was just needing to have much more ease. And in particular, the curve around the bust line, it's a little bit wrinkly, and I didn't do a super great job molding it perfectly, but you know, what can you do? It's my very first time trying to make foam look like leather, and you know, I think it worked out pretty well. Outlining the designs that I had created on my iPad was relatively easy, except for when I had to replicate the design onto the other side of the bodice. And you know, I mean, that's always a little bit of a challenge, and inverting your design, it's just, I'm not gifted in drawing, so I thought I did a pretty fine job. All I did was initially outline very lightly the design in pencil, and then I took this kind of, I believe it's used for leather working, and all it does is it creates very narrow indentations into the leather, and in this case the foam, to create very small, deep lines. And I liked this tool in particular because the gold paint would stay inside of it, and if I was careful, the paint on the exterior wouldn't go on the inside. So it was really pretty neat, and of course I liked having the emboss designs on there and have a little bit of texture, so I liked them a lot. Next up is the painting, and I have to say this was my most favorite part of the entire project. I absolutely love painting. It's what I love to do in my free time and when I'm not sewing and I don't have deadlines. But all I did was cover the foam in this black acrylic paint, and I know you could use black Mod Podge, but I didn't really want to take off the texture of the foam because I thought it looked a little bit more like leather, and I didn't want it to be too glossy either. So once the black was totally painted, I only painted one layer of black on there. I used the gold metallic spray paint only in the areas where there were the designs. And I really wanted to make sure that this gold went straight into the designs, and I kind of missed there, but this was a really cool technique, and I was really tempted to just paint the whole thing in gold because it was really starting to look like armor. But no, I must go ahead and paint it in this very, I guess, terracotta color of paint. And this, I was really surprised at how much it really looked like armor at this point. I covered the foam with 2 layers of this paint in particular, and you can kind of see a little bit of the gold design showing through the emboss. And what I did later on is, once this was completely dried, I didn't get any videos of this process, but I made the foam look really aged with dark chocolate brown and also like a burgundy red paint instead of using black, because I don't know, I don't think black is really realistic, so using things and colors that look much more aged and dirty makes a much more effective appearance. But overall, I'm really proud of how this looks, and especially for my first time using foam. I think I'll use it later on in the future.
Reference photo.
What do you think, Dad?
It's really...
Oh boy, I really hope I don't come to regret this. Oh man. Oh, look at that. Oh no. What have I done? Oh boy, I could get a light on in here. I gotta be able to see what's going on. Oh no. It smells like ketchup. Can I get it underneath? Please no. Please no. Please no. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, into the wash. Wow, that was such a panic. I thought about doing it on the wall, but then I was like, no.
Come here. Come here. Ha! Caught ya. Don't much like that, do you, Louie?
I don't care.
Ha!